Bible reading and prayer are common spiritual disciplines today. But have you ever noticed that fasting is not? With rare exception, fasting is just not part of our regular spiritual routines. But would it surprise you to find out that there are more than 40 stories about fasting in the Bible? God never commands anyone to fast, but refusing to eat was still a regular part of the lives of God's people. The Bible makes a big deal about fasting, and so we should take some time to figure out why. What is the point of fasting? Jesus himself tells us in Mark 2:18-20. When the Pharisees and the disciples of John the Baptist asked Jesus why he and his disciples don't fast, Jesus answered them with this analogy. Can the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. But then verse 20 says, the days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast in that day. The illustration is straightforward. Everyone who attends a wedding eats food at the banquet because it's a time of celebration. But when the wedding is over, the feasting ends as well. In the same way, Jesus expected his disciples to eat while he was around, because the Messiah was here and with him the hope of a better world. But when Jesus returns to heaven, fasting will resume because a better world has not yet arrived. Jesus just exposed a major flaw in everyone's thinking. The Pharisees and John's disciples thought they could become godlier by fasting, but they missed the point. Fasting is not about godliness, it's about Christlessness. The Christian who sees how dark sin and suffering really is will often lose his appetite and fast, all because Jesus is not yet here to fix it. He's not trying to win God's approval through asceticism. He's not even trying to jumpstart his prayer life. He's bothered by a real crisis and is choosing to avoid the most routine, daily activity to give all his attention to it. Today, we tend to avoid our problems rather than to confront them, to binge eat rather than to fast, to binge watch rather than to pray. But fasting helps us to take an honest look at our problems and invites us to hunger for the bridegroom's return. Fasting can be voluntary, or it can be involuntary. Whatever the case, it is always provoked by a deep concern over a real crisis. So the real issue is not that we should fast more, but that we should care more. Care more about our suffering, care more about our sin, care more about our world hurting without Christ. And when we care more, we just might find ourselves fasting more.